All right, guys, what's up? Eric Beer here. And now we're going to talk about buying media on a cost per thousand. So that is known as CPM. Uh, Stands for cost per milli. I didn't know that. Looked that one up. So I just learned something new. But in any event, I've been doing CPM for about 20 plus years. Yeah, so it's known as cost per thousand. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cover how to buy traffic when you're being charged on a cost per thousand, on a CPM, when you're getting paid on a cost per lead. So let's dive in. All right. So let's take a guy like Randall. He's always been interested in making some money online, right? So he finds this solar panel company that's willing to pay him $5 for every lead that he gets them. Okay. So Randall wants to work on 30% margins. So he's calculating that he's going to make $1.50 profit per lead. Okay. So 30% of that, $5, $1.50 for every lead he generates. Right? 1,000 leads a day. Boom. 11.50 profit. Let's find out what he can afford to pay a publisher. Okay. So he's getting paid on a CPL, right? So if he were to go out and buy traffic, which is what we're always trying to do, we're looking for people that will run traffic on a cost per lead. Why? Because it's the least amount of risk for us, right? So that's the scenario of what we're trying to do, right? But sometimes it doesn't happen. A lot of the times it doesn't happen. But if you know your numbers are okay. So let's dive in here and just look at it from the CPL perspective. So Randall solar panel company, pay in, he's getting $5 per lead. Okay. The advertiser will pay $5 for every lead. He wants to work on 30% margins. So the 30% of $5 is $1.50 profit, right? And if we take the $5 and we subtract the $1.50, then we can afford to pay a publisher $3.50 to get traffic, right? So we go out, we look for publishers. Hey, I want to run my solar panel offer. I want to pay you $3.50 for every time you generate a lead for me, right? We've been over that. We know that. Okay. So we come to a challenge. Randall finds an unbelievable mailer that he wants to work with. He's got 1 million subscribers, but he will not run traffic on a cost per lead, and he won't run it on a cost per click. The mailer charges on a $3 CPM, right? So he calculates that this is going to cost him $3,000 to mail to the entire list, right? So the way that that works is they're going to mail and you're going to pay just for them to send the offer for the audience to potentially see your offer. That's it, right? Crazy. No, that's the way internet works, right? So Mailer has 1 million subscribers. They charge $3 CPM. So 1 million subscribers, the way you calculate this is you take the 1 million and you divide it by the 1,000, right? Cost per 1,000 for every 1,000. So 1 million divided by 1,000, you get 1,000 units, right? And then because it's $3 for every 1,000, you multiply the 1,000 units times 3, and that's how you get the $3,000 media spend, right? That's what it costs for you to mail to this list. So Randall needs to figure out how much money he's going to earn on every impression he receives to his solar panel offer, right? So an impression pretty much means that they're going to see it, and that is it, right? An impression, same as watching television or driving on the highway and seeing a billboard. That's an impression. Just the ability for you to see it. You land on a web page and there's all these different banner ads. Those are CPM impressions, right? People are paying for that stuff. You land on CNBC, MSN. They'll sell on a CPM, and just to show the offer to their visitors. So that is the way that works with CPM. Okay, it's really important to understand. But we need to figure this out. So we need to compare apples to apples, right? We've talked about this before. Anytime we're buying traffic and we're getting paid on a lead and we're buying traffic with another model, what we need to do is we need to figure out what are we making within that model, right? So on a cost per thousand, what we're going to try to figure out is what are we making on a revenue per thousand, right? We need to determine what the RPM will be. That means how much money Bob's going to make every time somebody views his ad creative, right? So the ad's out there and boom, that's it. How much is he making? So let's figure this part out. So now we got to go talk to our publishers and our advertisers to get some numbers, right? It's math. Everything's math, right? And that's the best part about this business is it's all math. That's what I love about it. So the publisher says that their average open rate is 10%. And they said that after people open up the email, they're going to get about a 6% click-through rate. Okay. So we jot that down on our worksheet. And now we're looking here and we look and see there's 1 million subscribers. Okay. And the average open rate is 10%, which means he's going to get 100,000 opens, right? 10% of 1 million is 100,000. And the click-through percentage is 6%, right? So 6% of 100,000 means we're going to get 6,000 clicks, okay, to our offer. The advertiser has told us that when someone lands on their page, they're going to convert about 25%. So it's 1 in 4, right? So if there's 6,000 clicks, right? People that are clicking, landing on their offer, the solar panel offer, right? 1 in 4 is going to convert into a lead. So, 1,500 leads, boom, right? 25% conversion. So with this info, we can calculate some projections to determine if we want to mail on a CPM or not. We can project out what we think we can do. So when we're comparing apples to apples, we need to determine what the RPM is, right? So when you look at the revenue, we're making $7,500, right? 1,500 leads times the $5, right? And now we're trying to figure out, well, what is that per thousand? So you take the million divided by the 1,000, right? So you get $7.50 RPM, right? What are we going to charge? $3 CPM? So if we're making $7.50 revenue per thousand and the CPM is $3 cost per thousand, that means we're making $4.50 for every impression that we get, every 1,000 impressions that we get. So it looks like it could work, right? That's exciting. So let's look at it with the math, okay? So we're projecting we're going to get 6,000 clicks. That means that at 25% conversion, we're going to get 1,500 leads times 5, $7,500. And right here, we're paying the 3,000. So this $1,000 media cost. So our estimate of profit is going to be about $4,500, right? So overall, let's look at it from the start to the finish. We got 1 million names that we're going to mail to, right? So what we're doing here is we have 100,000 opens, right, on the 10%. Then of that, 6% of the people are going to click. So you have 6,000 clicks. And then you're going to convert 25%, so 1,500 leads. Of those 1,500 leads, you multiply times the $5 pay-in, what the advertiser is willing to pay us, it's $7,500 in gross revenue. Gross revenue means just top line, right? Without taking any of the costs away, just the total revenue. And then you look here of what the mailer's charging. We figured out that they're paying, it's $3 for every 1,000 emails sent. So we figure out that that's a $3,000 media buy. So we end up making $4,500 profit. That's very good, very, very good. So by plugging in the numbers, Randall's able to see that although getting charged on a CPM basis can be risky, this seems to be a good bet, right? There doesn't seem to be a lot of risk here based on what the numbers are showing. And we're not just making up these numbers. These are numbers that are coming from the advertiser and the publisher, right? They're doing this. They're telling us. So there's huge potential for some profits when you do it this way. Certainly, there's more risk, but higher risk, higher reward. And that's when we're projecting like that. That's really what we're looking for here, right? It's like when we're doing this and running the numbers, it's got to be worth our while to take a risk, right? If we're only going to make a small amount, if that, it's not worth taking the risk unless you have other agenda that I don't know about. But still, like, no way. This thing's got to work for us to be able to do it. So I want to show this to you on our media calculator. So, right, get out the media math traffic calculator, get out the worksheet so that you can fill in the blanks. And I'm going to go and share my screen so that we can do this together. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so we got that. All right, we have that. Boom. Okay, perfect. So let me get rid of this for a moment. Okay, so this is the calculator that we created for you, right? And this is showing all the data. We've done it for you, really. Like, this is the input, that's the output. So right here, what we're doing is we're looking to buy some traffic, and we have to pay a CPM, which is very risky, right? Because we're going to pay for the impression, but we don't know if somebody's going to click. We don't know if somebody's going to convert. So we're just taking, much more risk versus, well, we only pay when they click, or we only pay when they become a lead, right? So risk reward. So we're looking to see if we can make some good margins here. So the first question, advertiser pay-in, is $5, right? We know we're getting paid $5 a lead. The margin we want to work on is 25%. I thought it was 30%. I think it was 30%. I want to go 30%. And I may be wrong, but we do. Okay, so list size, we got 1 million. Boom. All right. CPM rate, we know they're charging $3. Average open rate percentage, what is that? 10%. 10%. And then click to open is 6%. 6%. Okay. And the average, what is the, oh wait, that's not the margin, silly. Or just down there, 30%. That's the conversion rate for the advertiser. My bad, guys. So 25%. So boom. Let's go over here. Let's plug it in, and boom. Here we go. Now this calculator just did all of it for you, right? We said we were making $4,500. Boom. Making $4.50 on a CPM. RPM, right, is $7.50. $3 is the CPM. So it works, right? So you're making over 50% margins. It's pretty good, man. So that's how this goes, right? So you get the 10% open rate that shows up here, and of that we get 100,000 opens from this 1 million, right? 1 million, 10%, 100,000 opens. Now you take the 100,000, multiply times the 6%. That's what's going to show you how many clicks they get, which is 6,000, right? We know the lead conversion rate's 25%, right? That's what our advertiser told us. And we're projecting that we're going to get about 1,500 leads for every 1 million emails that they send. So that's our numbers, right? So now over here, this is projecting the revenue per thousand. So this is $7.50 versus $3. So we end up making $4.50. So it seems like it could be a good bet, right? Looks like it could potentially work, which is exciting. So, you never know. Like, you could play around with this here, right? So like all these things are variables, pay and blah, blah, right? We could change this to 4%. See the numbers change. Let's say 2%. All of a sudden now we're losing money here, right? Boom. Why? Because the click rate was lower than we anticipated. So if we went and did this now and they got 2%, this wouldn't work, right? But at the 6%, it works. So you got to play with the numbers and figure this part out. But once you do this, guys, literally, if you start doing this to the point where, you know, ultimately you're getting it, what this does is it allows you to be able to go buy traffic in a way that most people that get paid on a CPM are afraid to do, right? And, you know, there's definitely some risk involved here, right? Versus when you're buying on the cost per lead. However, if you know your numbers, I can't stress how important it is to understand your numbers. If you know your numbers, then you don't really care how you're buying the traffic. You should know what you can afford for in CPM, CPC, CPL, because they're all the same and people sell traffic in very, very different ways. So if you want to take advantage of that, you do it this way and become this ninja media buyer. You crush it. You're doing things that people are afraid to do, and you're just, you know, you're a hero. So hope this was helpful, guys. I hope you're getting it. This is good stuff. You guys get this, you got a bright future. So appreciate it. Let's do it, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Later.